All right,
Let's do
so
it.
fake drum roll. This is the new nudge screen. If you guys have not seen it, this is it. Okay. I think we went from, what was it, 7 rules to 20, 2-0. Big deal. It's broken up into 5 categories. And I'm going to try not to do a full demo of the new nudges because I do want to share with you guys how we're using nudges. But just quickly, you've got now, all these categories. You've got a general overview. You've got a nudge all button. You've got a reassign all button. When you unfold this, I'm going to start with lead activity. You've got 4 categories. The first 2 have to do when the lead was created. And has anybody called in the last 4 hours? Has anybody called in the last 12 hours? That's because with new leads, you got to act quick. Then you've got the lead called us. Nobody called back. Our agent didn't call back, which is just mind boggling that every week I have a lot of those. Lead texted and 2 hours have gone by. My agent has not responded. So that's lead activity. You can nudge. You can see the details right here where it says see details. And you can see all of those leads, just like, you click manage. I'm not going to go deep on that, but very similar. Then you've got nurture rules, right? So these are similar. This is the best stage, right? They're active. If we haven't spoken to somebody that we're showing homes to in 3 days, like they're past due. Somebody that's hot, maybe in the next 90 days, and it's been 14 days since you've called or texted them, that's going to break a rule. If they're in a cold stage and you have not called, texted, or emailed in 30 days, that's going to break a rule, right? And then this is just a general, like, why has it been a month and nobody's called or texted this lead? Unfortunately, I have some of those, right? 20%, 20%, 80% completed. So that's a problem for me, right? I've got to figure that out as a team owner. After nurture, there's database health. So really excited about this one. Let me close this. So this one is, there's been an appointment, and after the appointment, the stage has not changed. There's been no update to the lead, right? And so this is 1 day after the appointment. If there's been no update, you're going to see that there. If there's a task past due over 2 days, you're going to see a rule saying, hey, we've got 32% of your tasks right now are past due. If we reassign the lead and it's been an hour with no calls or texts, that's going to be one. I love this one. I call it nudge the nudges. So in the last 7 days, if I've nudged an agent on a lead, and let's say we nudged John Smith, the lead's name is John Smith, for not calling him back. And with 5 days later, I can come in here and I can see all the leads that I've nudged in the last 7 days. So we've nudged 296, and of the 296, 69 have been corrected. Now we just nudged on Monday, right? So they have until Friday to correct these additional 230 nudges. And I can manually do it. I can click manage. I can go through them. I can reassign all of them. And I'll talk about how that works on my team in a moment. Then we've got, if you have Ylopo, you've got some amazing seller hand raiser. So hand raiser means they're raising their hand. Can you come over and tell me how much my home is worth? The fact that a day goes by and we haven't called that or texted that person, that's a problem. That's a rule break, right? Buyer hand raiser. I would love to tour the inside of 123 Smith Street. Can you please show it to me, right? A day goes by and we haven't called that person. That's a problem, right? Then any AI activity, so AI voice, AI text, any conversations that AI is having with leads, if we're not talking to that person after they spoke with AI within 2 calendar days, that's a nudge. And right now I've got 16% past due, right? And I think that's 3. So I'll click see details. I've got 3, right? I click manage. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Why the AI? Okay, now it's only 1. So that's good. But we've got 1 lead that's spoken to AI. We got to, I got to talk to my agent about that, right? And then there's just general priority. So this isn't hand raiser, but it's still really important. The buyer keeps coming back to our website, and 3 days have gone by. Nobody on my team has called, texted, or emailed. Big deal. They've buyers interested in a specific property, and no call, text, or emails in 3 days, right? This is where most of your past dues are going to come from. Seller keeps checking their home value. 3 days have gone by, no activity. They updated their phone number on our freaking website, and 12 hours have gone by and nobody has called or texted the new number the lead has provided. So annoying. Okay. And the fact that I'm able to see that right here, if it happens, is a big deal. And then this is just general AI activity. So this is where they set an appointment. So the high priority is they set an appointment. The lower priority is a conversation's occurring, but there's no appointment set. In either instance, so I'm going to stop sharing. You're able to very quickly see really important metrics in your business. Now, I wrote a book on being too nice, right? So taking leads from my team and reassigning them to other agents doesn't really vibe with that whole too nice methodology. So what did I do? Right? I went to him and I said, guys, you're just too busy. You got too many leads. You don't want all those leads. Oh, it's so messy. You probably can only manage 50 human relationships. And I'm being gracious, but you know what? I'm going to let you manage 100 relationships. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Over the next 60 to 90 days, I'm going to start nudging these leads as an FYI for you, that I see something in your database, in your leads that are assigned. I see an opportunity, and I'm going to start highlighting those and paying attention to the agents. This is all I said. I'm going to start paying attention to the agents that aren't following up with leads. Now, I don't buy Zillow or Realtor leads. Nothing wrong with Zillow or Realtor.com leads. They're amazing. They're expensive. And I feel like as a team owner, when you're buying those kinds of leads, you can basically say, oh, you're not going to do your job? Fine. I'll find 3 other agents to do it. With leads from Google and Facebook, however, I really need my agents to work hard to generate the opportunities. So the management style is a little bit more subtle because I need them to buy into the narrative. So after about 60 days, I said to them, all right, and I took this from Daniel, we're going to nudge the leads on Monday. If you haven't corrected the nudge by Friday, I'm going to tell you that in the month of August, I'm going to start reassigning those leads. So all July, they started paying attention to it. They're like, well, come August, we're going to start losing leads. What we found was a lot of success stories and a lot of failures. We had agents raise their hands and say, Barry, you started this nudge process and I just called 2 out of my 50 pipeline deals, and 2 of them went to an open house and bought the open house property with the listing agent. And it was like 2 million in volume, so what is that, like 60 grand in gross commissions lost. So by the time August came, I said, all right, guys, we're going to start this new reassignment policy. And we nudged on Monday, come Friday. And what I did was we examined, this was before the new release, so I didn't have the nudges. We examined last communication, right? We examined the lead source and the agent, and we manually went in and started reassigning. And that's when I went to the developers. I said, hey, I can't really have an admin do this for me. I'm not comfortable with it because there's nuances here. I know this one agent went out of town for 2 weeks. I don't want to reclaim her leads or reassign her leads while she was on vacation, right? So those little nuances scared me as a business owner. So now with all these nudges, it allows us more control and filtration of, let me go back in and just share with you guys so you can see it. So like with nudges, I'm able to go in and when we nudge on Monday, I'm able to see, manage. I'm able to see when we nudged. So here's the nudge right here, right? I'm able to see it on August 26th at 7:12, we nudged them. We've nudged the lead once. The last thing the assigned agent did was send an email. And since I zoomed in, it's not, okay, here we go. But well, I didn't select for team. So this is her sphere. So I wouldn't reassign that anyway. But what you're able to now start to see is, so like, here's Mary's lead. We nudged her on the 26th and she created a task. All she's done is send an outbound text. Then I'm able to reassign the leads that have been neglected. Now, the script we're using is really important. I did not tell my agents that we were going to do this, but I did have an ISA. I had an ISA prioritize all the reassigned leads. We reassigned 400 leads to her. This is about 3 weeks ago. And as it stands today, She's called all of them, texted all of them, and she set 40 new appointments with our agents. So 10% appointment ratio with these leads. Here's the script. Hi, this is Fay Lynn with Better Homes and Gardens. I'm the client care coordinator, and we just wanted to see, did you ever find that home that you were looking for? That's it. Super open, super general. If they say they're still looking, then the ISA says, that's fantastic. How's your agent doing? If our agent is brought up by the lead, so if they say, oh, John is fantastic, I just love how he works with me, he understands me, we do our agent a solid. We reassign that lead back to John and we say, all right, John, according to the data, you're blowing it, but you're doing something right. They brought you up. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, they don't bring it up a lot. Most of the leads have forgotten my agent. I would say out of the 40 appointments, 37 of them forgot the agent and 3 remembered their agent. And of the 37 appointments, we've already got deals under contract as a result of reassigning those leads back to somebody else. And so from a mindset standpoint, if you don't have a punitive culture, like if you're not a do this or you don't get anything, there's a way to use nudges in a collaborative way. Hey guys, you're overwhelmed, you're too busy, we're leaving opportunities over on the table. And so I'm going to nudge you on Monday. I'll give you 5 days. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to start the task of reaching out. Now, if you don't have an ISA to do that, I would have an admin send text message to those leads. Use that same script, right? I'm the client care coordinator. Wanted to see if you ever found that home you were looking for, right? Then they say yes. Then you use that. Okay, how's your agent doing? And if they don't remember it, then we set that consult for an educational appointment. That's the appointment that we're setting, is for a buyer consult. And so for us, the nudges have been a really big deal because what we've been able to do is we've been able to not leave any money on the table. And whereas before the nudge tool was all like the past, like the stages that we've already converted, right? That's kind of it, or the tasks that we've already made that we missed. Everything was looking based on what you've said about the lead. Here are things and rules we think you should pay attention to. And so what I want you to see is now the system is not only looking back in time. The system is looking also in the future. These leads are acting interested. That's the whole significance of those Ylopo filters. These leads look like there's something here and nobody on your team is reaching out. And the new nudge, the nudges is telling you presently as a team owner, these are leads that you found and you told your sales team they're missing an opportunity, and 5 days have gone by, or 6 days or 7 days have gone by, and nobody's reached out, even though you nudged them, and they get a text and an email and it's putting a tag on a lead. That's the other thing I was going to say, is that tag that gets added to the lead, that gets put in a smart list. So my sales team has list number 1, which is new leads, 2, old leads that are still active and unconverted. List number 3 for my team is called missed opportunities. The missed opportunities list is only looking for the MAV nudge outstanding. So I'm prioritizing what Maverick is discovering by putting all those leads in list number 3 for the team. I'm not having them depend on those emails and text messages, although they're great from Maverick. I'm having them work through as a daily workflow those nudges. And what I tell them is, if you're too busy to prospect, you're showing homes and you're slammed, and you only have one afternoon, an hour and a half to do your follow-up and do your calls, do not call new leads that week. Avoid the compulsion of trying to find someone new. Go to list number 3, prioritize the humans, we call them leads, but prioritize the humans that you've already found that have some kind of intent that you are missing. This has also surfaced a fundamental problem in my organization. Most of my agents did not know how to do lead nurture. They would say to me, you said talk to them every 3 weeks. They're not buying for 2.5 months. Why am I calling them every 3 weeks? That's what they're saying. And if you don't know, if you haven't had this conversation with your sales team, I guarantee you the reason why they're not nurturing their leads and they're always calling someone new is because they're compulsively avoiding bothering the people. They're like, oh, John was so nice to me the last time I talked. I don't want to bother them. So all I had to do was teach them to always have something of value and make the purpose of the call giving them some information. Hey, John, I saw this. Hey, John, I've got this blog. Hey, John, I've got this guide. Hey, John, I saw a house. I know you're not ready, but I wanted to send it to you. Always have something to give them. It's just like when you're door knocking and you knock on the door and they open the door and you're trying to announce the open house. What's the first thing you do? You shove that piece of paper in their face, right? You get the attention off of you and you're like, hey, open house. That's what you've got to do on the phone with these lead nurtures. There is more money in your organization calling these nudges than there are calling new leads. I said what I said.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Yeah, just touch on the same point. I think we run similar cultures, organizations where I don't like to be a bad guy. I love your book. Plug for it right there. It's awesome.
Thanks, man.
I consider myself a pretty nice person, and sometimes that can get in the way of accountability. But I love that the nudge is the accountable system. Like this, the Maverick is kind of becomes the bad guy in some way. But we did the very similar thing what you did, and said it like, hey, I'm giving you this gift by not overwhelming you with so many leads. Like, let
Love
me
that.
help you. Like, you
Yeah.
got a lot on your shoulders. And that is a game changer when you start to say it that way. The other thing I would say is do it like Barry did when you roll it out. Don't do it like we did. You can get nudge happy. You can be like, oh, you start to see like, this is fun. I can click this button and the 50 agents or 10 agents get a text that says they're overdue. It's like, right? And, we didn't tell them, we didn't roll it out. We started getting unsubscribes. Agents are like, what the heck? I'm getting some spam. So I think it's important that you roll it out in that way, in a soft way, and say, hey, you're going to get these, get used to it. By this date, we're going to start taking some load off your shoulders because it's telling us that you probably have too many if you haven't corrected them. So the last thing
Exactly.
I'll say, I appreciate you sharing yours. You are vulnerable because there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red in there,
A lot of
It's
red.
like you could have gone through and fixed all those problems before you came up. But I think that's the beauty of it is Maverick is like, here's the problems. This is what you need to fix. Red, green. So I appreciate you being vulnerable there because that's
Yeah.
really all are.
I mean, to be honest with you, unless you're paying your agents a salary and they're W-2 employees, it's like herding cats. It
Yeah.
is. And let's just accept the fact that that's the way that it is. I have discovered, however, that giving them a carrot of a benefit to working hard has performed better for me than anything else. And so telling them if you are in the top 50% for effort of calling and texting, if you represent the top half of my organization for just trying, you literally can be horrible on the phone, but you're calling more people than everybody else. I'm going to get an ISA to give you a lead next week. That has tripled the effort of outbound dials and text in my entire organization. Like just a game changer.